Is Star Wars actually about the fall of Tartaria? Yes, it's set in a galaxy far, far away, but is it just an allegory for a long time ago in a realm we're living in right now? There's certainly a lot of similarities between old world technology and the technology on display in the films. Was George Lucas privy to some secret history that we're not? Did all the technology you see in the films exist in real life first? As crazy as it sounds, even something resembling lightsabers may have actually existed, as we see in these sketches from the 1600s of people fighting with swords that appear to be charged with electricity. There's even theories that there were robots in Tartarian times, which could have inspired the robots in the movies. There's legends of Sasquatches and other mystical creatures in the old world. Looks a lot like Chewbacca to me. Also, a lot of these so-called Renaissance era statues remind me a lot of Han Solo being frozen in carbonite. And yes, there are theories that these statues were actually once people, due to the fine details that surely couldn't have been crafted with just hammer and chisels, down to indents in muscles and literal veins. Is this where the legend of Medusa really comes from? So I pointed out how Order 66 is effectively the equivalent of a Great Reset. And someone in the comments pointed out that the Order was programmed into the Grand Army clone troopers through behavioural modification biochips implanted into their brains. Neuralink? ? It's a great observation, and they do say that there's nothing new under the sun. So were the movies just showing us advanced technology that already existed in the old world and are just rolling it out again gradually to the public? There's even theories that top hats were post-reset mind control devices. Were they rudimentary versions of Neuralink, used to brainwash people to go along with a new narrative of history? And if that didn't work on you, were you simply just sent to an insane asylum, aka a reprogramming centre, which were probably just retooled Tartarian buildings? And could programmable clone armies have actually once existed? Perhaps now turned to stone, similar to carbonite, another lost technology shown to us through fiction. And after all, we know cloning is possible, as they cloned a sheep back in the 90s, and as it says here, contrary to popular belief, she was not even the first animal to be cloned. And again, this was probably just a rediscovering of technology that had already been used for generations and hidden from the history books. And if human cloning wasn't possible, then why would there be a need to ban it? So were the cloning centers you see in Star Wars inspired by real ones that existed in the past? And is that what we see at these post-reset world fairs, where human cloning may have been used to repopulate the Earth? And don't forget that in the last Star Wars film, Emperor Palpatine himself is revived as a clone. Is Star Wars telling us that a lot of the real-life elites are clones as well? Cloning, brainwashing, carbonite, are these all simply technologies that the Star Wars franchise is presenting to us as part of a revelation of the methods? Stay tuned for part 3, where we'll go even deeper to see what this series could be hiding in plain sight. Have you noticed in Star Wars how a politician, who's actually a shadowy occult figure who pulls strings from the shadows, manipulates both sides of a war to bring about a one galaxy government, or in this case, empire? It's kind of like how World War I gave us the League of Nations, and when that didn't work, World War II gave us the United Nations. And who knows what a potential World War III would give us. It's the same old tried and tested Hegelian dialect problem reaction solution technique. Palpatine creates the problem by starting up a separatist droid army. But no one knows he's behind it because it's led by his puppet, Count Dooku. Then the reaction by the Republic is to create an army of their own. A clone army which Palpatine is also behind. As thanks to some built-in MK Ultra style programming, he's able to take control of them by executing Order 66. So the solution to all this is to create a united, galaxy-wide empire. Which of course is what Palpatine had planned from the very beginning. Oh, and the puppet dictator who helped him bring all this about, he has executed. Which, you know, seems a bit harsh, as they at least let Hitler retire in Argentina. I guess this is more of a Saddam Hussein situation. And then when Palpatine recruits a new right-hand man, Anakin Skywalker, the first thing he has him do is perform a child sacrifice. Very Illuminati. Then once they're in control, they create a population-reducing direct energy weapon and go about writing the good guys, the Jedis, out of the history books, to the point Han Solo thinks they're just a myth. All seems very Great Reset to me.
See, if you know the history of when Rome fell, you can understand what's going on. The Clone Wars happened in 500 AD. When did Rome fall? 500 AD. And Rome was the security and police force for England, Italy, and Scots. So when Rome fell, England got invaded by the wild men, which is also another clone race that was placed there to conquer the land. And they did this everywhere. America got invaded by some beings called the Sasquatch. It's like everywhere was invaded at the same time. And so they did it so that they could actually take the lands from you. So everything was already there pretty much. The buildings, the judges, the court systems, and everything was already put in place. And we already had structure. We already had free energy and all the things that we had. They came here, the Zeta Grays, invaded all the lands, melted every goddamn thing and took everything that we had, and basically established these clones to come invade all the lands, and then they could actually take each individual city and state or wherever and basically assume the roles of the people, take the clothes, assume the roles, you know? You know what I mean? So basically we are just literally, the world is a stage and they just play in the front acting like they've been here for a long time, but they just got here, bruh. You can even look at King Arthur, like I said, it's all around the
Ginepple, the last queen of Tartaria. Not queen of Mongolia, she is the queen of Tartaria.